What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are heading into 2026, and that's going to mean a very interesting year coming up for Destiny 2. Of course, 2025 had plenty of newsworthy moments for Destiny, which were both good and bad. It is safe to say though, 2026 will be a very important year for the franchise overall, as well as for Bungie as we've discussed. In this video though, we're going to talk about what we know regarding content coming to Destiny 2 in the next year. That includes the big expansion content that Bungie announced, where we'll hopefully see both the Shattered Cycle and Alchemist expansions, but there'll be other big updates regarding Bungie's future plans for the game, as well as the seasonal rollout, major updates, new activity content that we'll get, and then big quality of life changes. In addition to that, there is a roadmap of live events coming up with some pretty interesting rewards. So in this video, we're going to round up everything we currently know about content coming down the road in 2026. If you enjoyed the video, a rating would very much help us out, and let us know in the comment section what you'd most like to see from Bungie and the game in general in this next year. Otherwise though, let's get into it. And so two things that have been discussed quite a bit initially. An important component that we're going to get in 2026 is a full state of the game and multi-year roadmap for the future of Destiny. So it's the promised roadmap that, of course, Bungie pushed further and further away, probably because they're responding to the scale of changes that players are hoping to see. Of course, we hope that's the case. So we'll simply have to wait and see when that drops. Other big releases that Bungie teased include two expansions once again, so that will be Shattered Cycle, which is slated for summer 2026, and The Alchemist, which Bungie had said will be in winter of 2026. We don't have specific dates yet, but we should keep in mind there is the potential to see some delays or that calendar kind of pushed back, especially if Bungie are going to attempt to make bigger swings at fixing elements of core Destiny 2 gameplay and progression. And that's what that roadmap will really be about, so I'll keep you posted on that when we get to it. Otherwise, for content between now and then, in January 2026 we will see the return of Arms Week. This will be in mid-January or later, and Bungie say they'll be focused on bows, complete with new limited time weapon mods. And we've seen some interesting event weapons that are lined up for this season, including the King Orfeo. That will be the first Arms Week weapon available in the Renegades era, and I'm sure Bungie will make announcements regarding Arms Week very soon. Next thing on the calendar is the return of Guardian Games, and alongside that we will see D2's next major update, which is Shadow and Order. Shadow and Order itself is slated to drop on the 3rd of March. So it could be that Guardian Games will come a little bit after that, and we've yet to see any new rewards added for the event this time around. But for the Shadow and Order update, once again, from the roadmap here, we can expect new and reprised activities, a new sandbox meta, as well as the continuation of the event pipeline, new modifiers and challenges, as well as new gear and artifact mods. Plus, there'll be a reward pass with a new exotic weapon, legendary weapon and armor ornaments, cosmetics, and all of that stuff. Much like in Ash and Iron though, the major update will have new activity content, and we've discussed speculation recently about a description which probably applies to the major update in March, where we'll race the Dredgen and outlaw mercenaries to a weapon of shadowy legend while storming a Hive weapons foundry to prevent the Dredgen from expanding their corrupted arsenal. On paper, that sounds potentially pretty cool. We do know though that that description was available when Renegades launched, but has since been replaced with a Lawless Frontier description, so the assumption has been that Bungie accidentally teased what that content would actually be earlier than they'd intended. And of course there could be a new portal activity, like we saw with the Plaguelands, and maybe an exotic mission if we're lucky as well, and that could pertain to the weapon of shadowy legends, so we'll see what happens there. But the other component Bungie spoke about a while ago at this point is a Pantheon-style raid and dungeon event, similar to those that we've seen in the past. And while Bungie haven't given further details on what this will actually be yet, according to leaks, Bungie are focusing on bringing back raid bosses from Scourge of the Past, Crown of Sorrow, and Spire of Stars, so it could be a Pantheon that focuses on some of the older raids that we haven't had active in the game for quite some time. That will be at some point after March, presumably. But other quality of life updates Bungie had said is that they will have more ability changes coming up in the major update, and the ability to enhance legendary weapon tiers in Shadow and Order as well. Plus, other comments from people like DMG have indicated that old portal loot pools from the Edge of Fate era may once again become available, and it seems very likely that this would be as part of a major update, given that it's a more significant kind of quality of life change. So, other than what we've said here, we'll have to wait for Bungie to give us more info about the major update itself, which we'll probably get in a few weeks' time, but the roadmap is kind of populated by various seasonal events. So the next one after Guardian Games will be Call to Arms. Bungie have said it's a mid-season event in April. We know that the Gizmo Weft will be the main kind of Call to Arms weapon, and that weapon will become farmable at that point. So that's one element. Otherwise, Call to Arms will probably bring back a bunch of the event weapons that we'll get access to in the next couple of months, where they tend to have additional kind of holofoil treatments and potentially other sandbox updates. Then there'll be a new Call to Arms helmet, so this will be the competitive reward, like we saw in the last event, but obviously it's a different variant with updated visual effects, and Call to Arms will have a bunch of different cosmetic rewards, probably linked to the event track or completing certain objectives. So we see in the database items like Devram's Favor, that's an emblem, as well as a new ornament for the service of Luzaku, which is called Sublime Companionship, and then a new exotic sparrow and ship with that kind of loose Call to Arms theme. So one of the bigger live events overall that we'll get during the season. And then there are two events that Bungie haven't given specific dates for. The first is Iron Banner, so this could really happen at any point. It might be that we get it in February or something. We only know a couple of rewards that are updated or new for this particular event. So firstly, there's an emblem called Pack Howl, but we'll also see a new Void Auto Rifle, which is the Red Husk's Pledge. Otherwise, I get the feeling that we'll see the return of the Iron Banner armor set from the Edge of Fate era, and maybe further updates to other weapons in that loot pool. If you want to see perk rolls for the new auto rifle though, I'll link a video down below that has all the details on them, and then other event weapons which will be spread across Heavy Metal, Call to Arms, and indeed Arms Week include King Orfeo once again. That's the bow, which will be the first Call to Arms weapon for this season, which will be an arc bow, which will be nice. Otherwise, there's a new Stasis Trace Rifle coming, a precision frame arc rocket launcher called the Micro Mod, and a Void Glaive called the Heron. Each of these weapons actually has numerous hollow foil variants, partially to support them returning over numerous different events, I suppose. So I don't know which variants will drop at which point in time, but the orange skins on the weapons are pretty cool, to be fair. So I know that's been a bit of a mashup of different things we know about the future for Destiny 2. Obviously, starting with hopefully getting details on that multi-year roadmap and state of the game update. Otherwise, there's the expansion pipeline itself, where we'll have to see what implications there may be in terms of the dates that those drop and what Bungie hope to achieve with that roadmap. Otherwise, we've got lots of live events coming up, as well as the major updates, so there'll still be things to do in Destiny. In terms of whether that's enough content overall, you'll have to give me your thoughts down below, and as always, I will keep you posted when Bungie give us further info as well. For today, if you've enjoyed the video, a rating would really help me out. If you want to see more Destiny content, hit subscribe as well, so that I can keep you up to date, but otherwise, thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.